Here we are at the final lesson. Can you believe it? How about a quick run through? 5 lines, call the staff, and depending on which clef you use, they tell you what letter name of the notes are. And your clefs are the treble, the bass, the alto, and the tenor. From the clefs, we went to the key signatures, and lastly, the time signatures. Is there much more? Yes, there is. There are many little things, but you can learn them if and when you take lessons. From this point, knowing the notes and all, you can always go and sing in a choir. Or consider trying an instrument. Most all orchestra instruments read only in one clef. But remember, the viola is the only instrument that reads in the alto clef. For cello and bass, you would need to know the bass and the tenor clefs. And the French horns, they read both in treble and bass clefs. Now I suggest you search on the internet the instrument that you feel you want to try and listen to it as a solo instrument to make sure that's the kind of thing you would like to play. And also, while you're there, check out the history. Then go find a beginning class if you can and rent the instrument. Don't go buy one at first. We'll go rent an instrument, and then by the time you're through with the class, you're going to know if you want to go on to private lessons. Now, if you get good enough, you might want to check out your local orchestra because they can always use extra players. If you find you like the violin, I just happen to have one for sale. I have nice and loud and has a beautiful tone. I've had it for over 50 years. If you are really interested, you get to that point, just contact me through my website and we can work out the details. Now we're going to write this little song I wrote just for you. Just for you, remember, it goes like this. I am first going to show you by what I call my shorthand. Now I'm used to writing for the guitar, so I only need one clef. And the guitar, for most of the time, the top notes are going to have the stems up, and the bass notes are going to have the stems down. Now when I write, I've been hearing music in my head for, well, before I was even born, because my mom was a piano teacher. This is the way I start out. I'll hear it, okay. I'm just going to sketch out some notes first. That's going to be twice as long. So now I can already know that this is going to be in 4/4 time, and it's going to be in the key of A, because I can hear the F sharp, I can hear the C sharp, and I know that it fits with A. So we put in the key signature and the time. We can put a big C or 4/4, doesn't matter, either way. And you only have to put it once. You don't have to put it back here, down here again. Okay. La da 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 dum. Okay, this is bass A. La dum da da dum. Bass A again. Bum bum. Da 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 dum. Oh. Let's see. Da 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 dum. Da 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 da. E, the dominant. Okay, this is just sketching, of course. Okay, this goes to D. I can hear that. And this is going to be, I'm going to put a half note, la da, and then the bass, same thing, bum, bum, bum. So basically it's the melody written out and the bass. Now to write out this song like a normal song would be, we're going to have 3 staffs. You need one for the melody and you need the other 2 for the piano. But this is how people normally write out a song. So you have treble bass, treble for the top. Now there are a couple of rules you have to follow. Now when you read music, you won't have to worry about this because they will already be in place. Number 1 is that the notes above the middle line, stems have to be down. Whereas if it's below the middle line, the stems go up. That's one rule. The other rule is that you have to line up according to the rhythm so that it's all easy to see. For example, our first measure will look like this. We're not playing here and we're not playing here, so it's lined up. You remember I told you that you have to have the number of beats that the time signature tells you in each measure. Well, here we have an incomplete measure. It's on the 4th beat. You're saying, well, okay, what the heck is this? This is called a pickup.
Wait a minute. Did you say a pickup?
This is a musical pickup. I'm just going to do a few here. Now I can put that one up. Let's see what I mean. And the next one goes. Okay, bass. We're going to go for the bass here. We're going to put the A, as we already said here. Da-dum-dum. Let's go up to the 5th here. So we're going to have stem. This is above the middle line here, so it's going to be looking like this. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da. We'll make that a whole note. Da-da-da. Go to the 3rd. But you see how you try to line these up? Is that very lined up? I guess it's lined up. Now, here you're going to put in the harmonies, the chords. Well, on the top here, let's put in first. Okay, we're going to have the bass first, so let's put in another quarter rest. Then the chord to match up with that note there, which is an A chord. And then boom, bum, boom, bum. See how this goes? Boom, bum, boom, bum. Has to line up. Now we're going to look at the music that I've already got written out. Okay, here's the bass we've already outlined. Now here's our chord. You can see it's inverted chord. Except for when you put the bass to it, then it's not an inverted chord. But the top here is E, A, and C sharp. So we go A, 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 bring up the C sharp here. It's still an A chord. And here it goes to E, which is A, C sharp, E. So that's still in the sequence, but it's the dominant here. So this is an E 7th chord. It just doesn't have the B in it. It's E, G sharp, and D, which is the 7th. And then the bass E, same thing. So that's our E 7th chord. Back to A. This comes up to the 3rd, which is C sharp. And now we go to D, which is this subdominant, F sharp, A, and D. Bring this up to the third of the chord. Okay, then we come to E here in the bass, but I have an A chord, so this is second inversion. And then we go down to the E in the bass here, and then we change it to the dominant seventh, the E seventh, and back to the tonic, the A again. I wrote this silly song, I wrote it just for you, and now that it is written out, it'll drive you crazy too.
They're driving me crazy too.
Now, just to show you that I really am a serious composer, I have a little piece here that I wrote. It's in A minor and 6/8 time. Okay, you can see this is in 6/8, and it's A minor. But look at here, it's 16th rest, 16th note, so it makes 1/8. This makes a second. This makes the third, but it's dotted, so that means there's an extra 16th. So if we count this dot to this 16th, it's fourth beat. This is the fifth, this is the sixth beat. See how that goes? This is pretty easy. It's all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. Here we have this dotted section again. But look how I have this. It's a 16th to here would be 1/8. Then I have an extra one. Well, let's count that to here, so that's 2, and this is 3. So one, or I can go like this, 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, 6. The form that I wrote this in is, it's an ABA form, but I made it A, because I repeated it, B, A, B, A, B, let's see, 1, 2, 3, one more, 4 B's before I got to the end, because it goes very quick, and I actually numbered them as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the final. And each time it comes along, it changes just a little bit. That's how you know which one that you're on. For those of you who wish to go on to the keyboard, I suggest starting with Bach's First Prelude in C major, from the Well-Tempered Clavier. My reasoning is because you can see and figure out the chord structures as well as finding the natural fingerings. And you can easily find it on the internet. Let me show you a little bit. Okay, now this is in the Prelude in C. It's in C major. So this is middle C, so it's way up here on the hand, C and E, and look how this falls. This is an inverted chord on the top, G, C, and E, or C and E, if you like it this way, but it almost dictates which fingers you are to use. The next one, that's the same thing as each measure does this thing twice. So it's in an arpeggio, we call this, when it is going up in essence. Okay, this goes to C, D, and A, D, F. Well, this is a D minor chord, but with the C in the bass, it makes it third inversion. How about that? Here we go to, and that drops down to a B, and this turns into, drops down the A to a G, turns into a G 7th chord, which is the dominant 7th. Then we come back to C, E, G, C, E. Back to the tonic. It's usually dominant to tonic, which is the way it works. So see how the hands seem to fit everything here. Now here is A, E, and A. So we have an octave, A to A, stretch, and you just have to catch the E in between. So it's A, E, and the octave. We have the same thing coming down here. Then we go to a D major chord, but it's C in the bass, so it's third inversion. See how you use all the inverted chords? Anyway, it's pretty easy to see how it groups together. We go to B, D, G, D, and G. So this is that stretch again, the octave with the fifth in between. It's a G chord. Goes back to the C chord, but with a B in the bass. So what do we have here? We have a inverted chord again. So you can see how these top of the notes almost dictate where your fingers are supposed to go. If from this point you wish to pursue the guitar, then I suggest you look at my 9-part series here on YouTube called The Guitar Finesse, in which each episode I start with a short little number and explain a little bit about it, and then in the middle I give a beginner's lesson. And the first lesson begins with the A scale. Then I finish off with another short composition. From this series you will learn how to coordinate your fingers, plus a lot about the history. I highly recommend it. My intent of this series was to teach how to read music and understand how it works. After all, music is the most expressive, emotional sound element that we humans have. If this series has reached a future composer or budding musician, then the world will surely benefit by what we call music. Namaste.
Wait a minute.